to in the beginning, so made sure I waited a second. But this week, really interesting. Some ideas, trying to piece some ideas together. We have Purim rolling up right around the corner. Shabbos Zachar, big one, and Tetzaveh. Everyone forgets about Tetzaveh because you got Purim. Everyone's working about Purim. But no, we got like almost 100 psukim of Tetzaveh. Let's not go crazy here. So an interesting idea, maybe to kind of piece these together, is to kind of really understand seeing. Seeing is believing. Seeing what's real. Sometimes seeing is deceiving. Sometimes we see things and we kind of miss it. Our eyes deceive us sometimes. You know. Um, I think one idea we could, like I said, is to see what's real. Hashem gave us the not just the ability to see, but to kind of see what's real. The first thing that we don't see or we do see is Moshe. So the one Parsha, Moshe is not in the Torah, of course, and Bereshis also. But Tetzaveh, Moshe not there. Tetzaveh, Moshe is not there. You will command, but we know that Moshe is doing the commanding. Moshe is telling the people what to do, the Shem and Zayas. Moshe is going to tell Aaron about the Big Day Kahuna. Moshe is going to tell the people how to make the beganim. So obviously Moshe is there, but Moshe is not there. And the idea is that Moshe really is not. Moshe could be there without being there. Um, the idea that Moshe is behind the scenes then and now. All the attributes that we try to look up to, that we get in our DNA, is from Moshe Rabbeinu. All Nevi'im got the Nevuah, kind of a show, like an Anaf, like a Shoresh for Moshe. So Moshe, even though he was not mentioned, he's still there behind the scenes. And Moshe tells us, that Moshe, Anish Moshe Anav Ma'od, biggest Anav. So even though that real leadership, real setting an example is from Anava, that's kind of the main thing. You're doing these activities for yourself. That's not leadership. It's not serving Hashem. I'm not sure what it is. Sometimes you can kind of learn Torah, do mitzvos, to get acceptance from other people. Sometimes you can kind of do things because everyone else is doing it, or you want to look good, the neighbors or your kids or your in-laws or something like that. But the key is to do it really serving Hashem. That's kind of what being an anav is. And this week we're starting off the Rambam a couple weeks ago. The Deos talks about your midos, your thoughts, person. Before we get into everything else, talks about you, a person. And this week talks a lot about being an anav. Elder traits. Middle is good. Like for example, today, don't say no meat is good. Don't say too meat too much is. There's a middle ground. Wine. Can't say no wine is good. Too much is no good. Unless next week. Middle. Everything's a middle except for anava and anger. Two things. Nava, there's nothing there. You have any gaiva, gasas ruach. It's like you're serving by desire. You have no place in Hashem. And the idea is to recognize that your talents from Hashem. You want to say that Moshe, the greatest anav, wasn't that Moshe let people walk over him, but Moshe knew that all the talents that he had, his wealth, his height, his stature, his das, his talking to Hashem, his ability to talk, this all came from Hashem. And not just that, but to channel it to doing the right thing. That's kind of the largest idea of anav. Most people walk around, oh my gosh, I have so much more than this guy. I'm better than him. I have a nicer car. I have a nicer house. My kids are better. Uh, I'm a better basketball player, that kind of stuff. Um, and you don't understand that really everything's from Hashem. Hashem gave everyone exactly what they need and exactly according to what their talents are. That's not another. Another now is to understand from Hashem and do it for the right reasons. So you have money, creativity, personality. It's a deposit. It's bekadon, really. It's what you can do with it. You don't take care of it right, you're going to lose those things. That's kind of really the main idea. And this idea is anava, to take what Hashem gives you and do the best you can, channel it for the right ways. This week in the Gemara, actually, we have an interesting idea. First of all, we talk about that Moshe has a discussion with Yeshua. So in Tamura, the Marinai brings down this interesting story where Moshe's asking Yeshua, okay, I'm going away. What questions do you have? What do you still need? And Yeshua's, no, I'm okay. You know what? I served my whole life. I was a nar. I served you my entire life. I was in the tent of Moshe, in your tent. Is nothing I need. Everything you've given me, I have. And Moshe's upset by this. It's dire. And you think, huh, you know, that's not why would Moshe be upset about this? If anything, that's a great thing. You know, you want your Talmud to be confident. You want the next leader to know everything. That's what you want. To have this. That wasn't what Moshe wanted. The idea that I don't need anything else. The last minute, the last 5 minutes, you have access to Moshe Rabbeinu. Is there nothing? Nothing you can want? Is that the way you act in front of your rabbi? And it bothers Moshe, and Yeshua lost halachos, and the people start to get nervous. They want to kill Yeshua. They want to kill Yeshua. Hashem says, go make a Muhammad, distract them, make a war. They'll forget about damaging you and hurting you and killing you. Okay, and Maranayim says it's not really what the message was. Is to go start a war. The lesson is, if you're not sure how to be an unav, you're not sure of what to do, study the Torah. Look at the Torah. Because all the things that Moshe tells us to do, all the ways that Moshe approached the Bnei Yisrael, spoke to Hashem, spoke to power, all these things are lessons from Moshe. So Hashem says to Yeshua, start a war. No, start a war, meaning look in the Torah. Start a war with the Torah, meaning look in the Torah. That's how you're going to fix this problem that you have, perhaps, that you're not an unav, too much confidence. Study the Torah. Moshe's going away. And the lesson for everybody is, well, Moshe's not here anymore. Look in the Torah. Look in the Torah. The other idea is to look at things and to see behind the scenes. Sometimes in front of us, we don't have. We have to kind of get the lessons. Is this week's Parsha, Tzava, Big Kahuna. So, Mefarshim talk about that all the Gemara, each of the Begadim was Mechaper, another Avera. The, the tzitz was haughtiness, and the belt was erva, and the me'il lashon hara, all 8 things. And the Cohen thinks about the Jewish people. The names of the people were on the Choshen, was on the Avnei Shoam, the Shvatim. People would see the Kohen, you get inspired. Oh my, you see the Kohen, you look at the tzitz, you look at the me'il, you look at these things. It's supposed to inspire you to do tshuva, inspire you to be a better person. Unfortunately, we don't have these things. We don't have these things. We have one thing to look at. We have one thing to look at is tzitzis. Tzitzis, one thing we could look at. So we don't have the ability to look at a coin, except for the socks to see if they're matching. Usually I do that. We'll talk about that another day. We don't have the ability to look at a coin and see the begadim and see the shine of the Kohen Gadol when he went in and out of the Kodesh Kadashim and the Mizbeach, base of Migdash. We don't have that. We have tzitzis. This is supposed to inspire us to think that Hashem is in the world. You think Chelas, some people were in the blue, think of the water, or Shemayim, Kisa Kavod. And the Gemara, literally, the Maranayim quotes the Gemara today, literally, not today, 3 days ago, Mem Dalet Amud Aleph, Gemara in Menachos, the story about Tzitzis. Literally, the day that we're learning the Maranayim and Tetzaveh is the Gemara. So literally 1 in 2,000. You know, it doesn't happen almost never. You know, sometimes you have a kesher with the Parsha, Gemara you're learning. I learned this Gemara last year. Literally the Gemara we had that day, the Maranayim brings us Gemara, where this person had this Yetzer, this Taiva to be with this prostitute. He travels, 400 gold coins, and most beautiful woman in the world, wealthy, everything going on. And as he's taking off his tzitzis, the tzitzis flings him hits him in the face, and he's thinking, "Oh my gosh, these 4 tzitzis are going to witness that I'm doing such a bad thing." And he just jumps off the bed, and he's done. And the woman says, "What is going on? Something wrong? Is something wrong with me?" I mean, she didn't care about him too much, but she's like, "Yeah, something's wrong with me. Tell me. I got a business to run." He says, "No, no, but the tzitzis are remember Hashem. I have to remember Hashem, and that's it. I can't go through with this." And she's inspired. She's inspired to do tshuva. She's inspired to do tshuva, and turns out to get married. So it's this idea that sits us, even though it's just strings, but the idea that even though we don't have the begadim to inspire us, we can't go to Shalim and see the Kohen Gadol or see the Kohanim in their clothes or the Levium with their singing. We don't have this. We're inspired to look at tzitzis, even though it's just strings, but we're supposed to see that tzitzis and remember Hashem is here. And Hashem is filling the world with kavod Hashem. And you're Shema, supposed to have fear of Hashem. And this idea also take us forward to the Megillah, to Megillah. Literally this morning, I was thinking, I was actually reading the Rabbi Biederman's Bear Parsha, and this crazy idea with balloons. Some of you know that I used to twist balloons regularly. I used to do this for some side work. Balloontwister.com was my site. I don't think it exists anymore. UD Balloony when I got to Israel. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, upsharons, bris, the Mets game, the Women's World Cup, a couple of charity events, Yankee, Staten Island Yankees, Newark Bears. Crazy lot of balloon twisting, a lot of twisting, stilts, the whole thing. But never thought I'd see a mushal written down with a Torah about balloons. Never thought I'd see it until a couple hours ago. So Rabbi Biederman brings down this crazy idea. The idea that all this is worthless if Mordechai doesn't bow down to me. You think about it, my gosh, let it go, man. Zer's just trying to tell him, what's with you and him? I mean, Gemara Megillah talks about they really had a huge past, but let's think about it. He had money, had a lot of children, he had power. He's speaking to the king whenever he wants. The king did whatever he wants. The most powerful man in the world is controlled by Haman. Haman has it all. But when he sees this one Jew's got this beard, he's walking around, he's not bowing down. The whole city, the bowing down to this guy, not just one person isn't. Cholza Enishov Ali. You know what? All this is worthless for nothing. Why is this? It was nothing. Because really, he had nothing. He had nothing. And Biederman brings this mushal. This Leitzan the clown, is twisting balloons, and everyone is impressed, hopefully, with the shapes. He's making a dog, he's making a flower, making a hat, making a tiger, making a bear, I don't know, a horse, bow and arrow. I don't know, he could do a lot of things. He used to be able to do a lot of things. And everyone's really impressed at something. But the balloon guy is scared of one thing. And I'll tell you, it's true. Balloon guy's scared of one thing. That's right. Needles. He's scared of the needle. So if any child is walking around and is going to drop it on the floor or something sharp, pop, and you hear crying. So you're scared of anything. You're scared of the smallest thing. So when you're twisting balloons, I used to have this vest. I still have it, actually. I have this vest. We still have it. It's got these little pins on it. It's got these needles on it. So most of the time, it doesn't pop. But once in a while, there's a sharp edge to it or something, or the back turns off or something, and boom. So the balloon guy is scared of one thing. He's scared of the needle to pop. And then once that happens, everyone's like, not so impressed anymore because it's just some latex and some air. It's really not much. It's really not much. And this is the idea that Rabbi Biederman brings down with Purim, is that everything you have, all these inflated things you think are important that you have, they're very vulnerable. You have a job. Unfortunately, with the market, that's it. You can lose it. Things can change in a second. You don't understand. Well, we all understand things could change in a second, for better, for worse. And the idea is to really kind of understand the real things in life, and channel to Kadosh Baruch Hu, the really important things in life, because things are fleeting, things are inflated, literally. And looking at tzitzis is to look at what's real. I look at tzitzis, I think of Hashem, I know that the world's filled with Hashem, and I think about the ideas of an anav, of just doing what Hashem wants and channeling the right way. So the Rambam's idea of anava is this week to channel things to Hashem. Everything's from Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu's missing, but not missing in the Parsha. The fix for Yeshua to know, nah, I'm good to go. But no, Moshe's there. I've been unav. There's things I can still get. And remember the needle that pops Haman's inflated ego is Mordechai. And also at Tzitzis could be our big day kahuna. We have a reminder of the vision of Hashem. And that's kind of how we want to tie these pieces together. And with that, Shabbat Shalom.